Welcome to my show, simply entitled Women Influencers, where you will find inspirational stories of successful women in male-dominated industries. I am Veronica, CCIM, founder and CEO of the Capstack Group of companies, providing commercial real estate development, brokerage, and property management services in the greater Orlando area. This week, we have another installment of the compiled questions that my guests have asked me in the past. Here are clips from the episodes of Natasha Falconi, Perez Eckles, and Candis Pressley, CCIM. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe below. I welcome your comments and please share with someone who could benefit from this podcast.
What encouraged you to begin investing in real estate?
Great question. And I appreciate that so much because I actually was encouraged by you as a speaker coming out of the Women's Summit that was put together by Beth Azor. And let me tell you, right after that summit, my sisters and I had already invested in a franchise for a wellness spa. And so I'm in charge of looking for space. Can't find any because we're very picky as to where we're going to put our business. Mm-hmm. And I came back from that summit and I gathered my sisters and I said, hey, we're going to buy a building.
I love it.
They all looked at me like, what? What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh.
And let me tell you, I walked away from that summit thinking to myself, wow, if those ladies can do it, I could absolutely do it too. And here we are in the middle of a transaction, buying as a group, as our first building. Now, my husband and I, we own a commercial building in our home country, the Philippines, but this is the first building that we're actually buying here in the United States. Now, we've invested in residential real estate, but this is really the first U.S. commercial real estate that we're purchasing, and we're closing in August. So not too long now. So it's so exciting. And I have to tell you that I would never have thought about doing that if not for that conference. Because as I told you before, now you were a speaker, and of course Beth is a speaker and the organizer. Yes. And as a matter of fact, I registered all my sisters to go next year.
I love that.
I know. And to all of you who are listening, if you're interested, it's actually Beth Azor's Women's Investment Summit that's happening at the first quarter of next year. So watch out for that. And that's really why I did it.
I'd like to know, what is it in your life that you faced that could have just set you back so far and leave you stuck, but instead kept you going forward with more passion? What was that?
Well, thank you for the question, Janet. And actually, just talking to you moves me to tears because hope and joy and peace is really, those are the things that elude a lot of people. And I've shared this story a couple of times on the podcast, and you obviously know the story. But when I gave birth to my youngest child, who, by the way, turned 21 today.
Wow.
Yeah, her name is Inez, and she actually at 3.5 months old was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. And everything seemed to have been falling apart around us because I had a blended family of 5 children, and my husband Manny, who had moved from the Philippines and relocated everybody. And I really could have fallen apart at that moment because it's a very, very difficult thing to go through. Not just my child. I mean, can you imagine a 3.5-month-old having to go through so much, 2 major brain surgeries, 2.5 years of chemotherapy, and several other, treatments that she had to have every week. But I actually had made a prayer and then a commitment that whatever happens, and while we were going through all of that I would remain believing that God would see us through and that God would heal her.
Yeah.
And I stayed with that belief, and I made the commitment that I would not let my family fall apart. And I think when Manny and I actually sometimes talk about that, and because Inez is now 21, of course we think about how she was a little infant. And we sometimes think to ourselves, how did we even manage that? How did we see that through? And there's only one answer. It was through God.
Amen.
So,
Yep.
I certainly would hope that the audience would recognize that it's okay to talk about our belief in higher being, in our God, in just the hope that He brings.
Tell me how you stay motivated.
Well, good question, and thank you. I've not been asked that question, but the way that I stay motivated is really summed up in the pursuit of happiness. And so when I think about the pursuit of happiness, I have to be able to define what happiness means to me. And it's not just success. It's not just about getting to the next level as far as my career. Happiness is about love, right? That's what keeps me motivated. It's about my family. It's about my health. It's about my sanity. Goodness. With what we do and the noise that goes on around us, I think that there are many, many, many challenges in the different stages and in the different areas of our lives. And to me, what keeps me motivated are the things that I'm pursuing for my own happiness, and hopefully that I can deliver happiness to others. So challenges to me are there to be overcome. And so I totally am always motivated by a challenge and how I can help in bringing about an outcome that is satisfactory to everyone involved.